What is up, my friends, and welcome to another edition of the XFL Week in Review. I'm your host, Mark Perry, editor of XFL News Hub, your OG XFL Week in Review, your alt football media guru, episode 185, and we are prepping you for Week 3 in the XFL season. So what we're going to do is we've got some news. We've got the TV ratings from Week 2. Then we've got the latest lineups or depth charts, the latest depth charts, injury news, and then, of course, my picks as well. So if you want to be part of the show, make sure and if you like football, then make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the like button. Let's get this to 100 likes and hit that notification bell to get alerted when breaking news happens in the world of the XFL. Also, if you are watching on the YouTubes, you might notice my little t-shirt here. So now that I have the headset. Yeah, last night I was at Toto and Journey concert in Washington, D.C. And why is it relevant? Well, it was a great time. Toto is Rush is my number one band. Toto is probably number 2. And then I think Jesus Culture would probably be number 3 as far as my favorite bands of all time. Christian rock group. Toto is number 2. Got to see them live. They're such great musicians. And then Journey, man. Unbelievable. The one guy, the lead singer, that sounds exactly like Steve Perry. Unbelievable. Just great show. They're on tour right now, so if you have a chance to go see them. But yeah, I am repping the Toto shirt today because I got to see them live. That was definitely one of my bucket lists things. But what does this have to do with the XFL? So I'm in D.C. at the Capitol Center, and go to an establishment. On the TVs is the XFL. XFL commercials, hyping this week's games, all this kind of stuff. And then there's a billboard outside selling, big digital thing right there, right in the heart of Washington, D.C., selling XFL tickets to this weekend's game, the St. Louis Battlehawks versus the D.C. Defenders. So it's like I can't even get away from it going to a concert, which I'm glad. But there it was on the television and marketing throughout the city. And this is the thing that I think some people forget, is the marketing hasn't even really happened. We saw a quote, I posted it on Twitter, from Danny Garcia talking about, how they really are now just kind of getting into the marketing of the league in the local markets and really just going to focus the next year of really kind of ingraining themselves in the local markets. Remember, a lot of the people, there's still people getting hired right now in the XFL. So just keep that in mind. But it was cool to see the XFL out and about in Washington, D.C. While I was at a concert. And I did not wear my XFL hat. That was the other thing. I did not wear it. All right. So make sure, if you want to be part of the show, email podcast at XFL News Hub with your thoughts, record an MP3 or video on your phone. And as always, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And we are usually live, except for today. I got a family event to go to, so we'll not be doing live, but we'll be live most of the time, 8 p.m. Eastern on every Monday and Thursday. But we'll have an episode come out exactly at 8. We just won't be live this week. That's all. That's all. You're fine. You're fine. Relax. All right, so first up, what we're going to do is we'll get into the news, then we'll get into the picks. Very simple as that. So without further ado, folks, let's just get into the week that was, let's just get into what's happening in the XFL. I guess I should just say it that way. Battlehawks hire a new coach. So the Battlehawks have made a change in the coaching staff Thursday morning. The team announced via press release and Coach Anthony Beck's Twitter that linebacker coach Dave Steckel would be resigning, and former NFL vet Chris Claiborne will be replacing him moving forward. Claiborne comes to the Battlehawks after spending the past 2 seasons at ASU as the Sun Devils linebackers coach. Claiborne joins the Battlehawks for his first opportunity in the professional coaching ranks. He has been coaching since 2018 at Calabasas High School, holding the position as head coach from 2018 to 2019, earning a 17-6 record. In 2020, he returned to his alma mater at USC as a quality control assistant in 2020, prior to joining ASU in 2021. Prior to coaching, Claiborne was an All-American and Butkus Award winner at USC. He's drafted by the Detroit Lions in '99 with the 9th overall pick and would turn out an 8-year NFL career before retiring in '07. In '05, Claiborne spent the season with the St. Louis Rams, appearing in 14 games, totaling 38 tackles and half a sack in his lone season in St. Louis. Despite the sudden resignation of Coach Steckel, Coach Beck, and the Battlehawks were able to replace a veteran coach with a man whose resume shows success not only as a coach, but as a player. With the Battlehawks linebacking corps full of young players like Mike Rose, Silas Kelly, Leakum Williams, and Carson Wells, bringing in experienced Claiborne will continue to build upon the unit's success moving forward into the season. He will be on the sidelines at the DC Defenders game this weekend. SOS from our own Anthony Miller. Sloter, obvious starter. Renegades must decide. This was interesting. The Kyle Sloter starter train has been conducted for the last 2 weeks by Arlington Renegades fans with no stop in sight. This all comes with the performance of Renegades starting quarterback Drew Plitt, who has the team at 1-1 so far this season. Unfortunately for Plitt, most of it that contributes to the play of the defense, not the offense. Their 2 picks sixes in week 1, 22-20 win over the Vegas Vipers were key to their win. Last week, 24-14 loss to the Houston Roughnecks. 3 turnovers were forced by the Renegades that led to all 14 points scored by Arlington thanks to short field position. For Plitt's performance itself, he has been up and down throughout the 2 weeks. Week 1 saw him complete a league-high 76% of his passes. Week 2, not as good, 50% of his passes, threw under 130 yards and threw 2 interceptions. He did throw 2 touchdowns in the loss to Houston. Since this has been a topic of conversation amongst fans for a while, and the Renegades released their depth chart, which showed either Plitt or Sloter will start. That's right. In week 2, there was no or between the 2 quarterbacks when the depth chart was released. So the depth chart as follows: Tyler Vaughn's, Brandon Arcondo, wide receivers Jordan Smallwood. Juan Winningham, a lot of people liked him. He's kind of moved back on the list, and Smallwood is up. Devon Smith is the starting running back. And then at quarterback, of course, Sal Cannella, a must start every week. Drew Plitt, Kyle Sloter. So, while the theory, it seems like an obvious choice to abandon ship with Plitt, but Sloter in, there are more that must go on, and in that decision, many factors could play in the role. Bob Stoops sticking with the rookie quarterback or the proven veteran. Really, the question is, and Plitt is a rookie. They're going to give him more time, but remember, the season is quick. The idea is probably, in his final analysis, is that it seems like Plitt will be the starter, but Sloter could have a short leash. Let's just put it that way. Or Sloter could just have the job. This is something we need to keep an eye on. Sloter, like I've said in the show multiple times, he was an MVP candidate in the USFL until he got hurt. And great connection with Sal Cannella, put him in the starting lineup, let Plitt learn from a veteran guy who's got a lot of NFL experience and all football experience. So just something to keep an eye on. But this news, Drew Plitt or Kyle Sloter, I think it's time, in my opinion, to move to Kyle Sloter. And that would affect your lineups. But this is something we'll just have to keep an eye on as we get closer to kickoff. Anthony Miller's got the week 2 players of the week. We'll run down them. So players of the week: offensive, A.J. McCarron, QB, 22 of 36, 184 yards, a touchdown, 5 carries for 41 yards and a touchdown. No surprise, he's kind of the guy in the league right now. And 2 comeback wins. How he does against the DC Defenders is questionable. Other honorable mentions: Ben DiNucci is a guy that I would always think about having to start in lineup. 19 of 29, 196 passing yards, 2 TDs, 8 carries for 38. Abram Smith, 11 carries, 71 rushing yards. This is why they picked him number 1. It was rain-soaked. It was his time. 1 touchdown and 1 reception. Jack Cohn, another guy who seems to be a guy, 16 of 24, 165 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 carries for 23 yards. These are guys to think about in your lineup going into this week. Also a guy, Brandon Silvers, quarterback, is another guy you want to think about having in your lineup. Defensive player of the week, Mac Roberts. Defensive line, Vegas Vipers, 4 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, and 1 forced fumble. than the loss. But of course, we all know with the rain and everything like that, being able to get his traction is good. Other honorable mentions: Reggie Northrup, linebacker, DC Defenders, 5 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 sack for a loss. Tazar Skipper, linebacker, Seattle Sea Dragons, had 4 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for a loss, and 1 forced fumble. Mike Lee, at DB, Orlando Guardians, 8 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for a loss. I mean, that's the Orlando Guardians guy getting in there with all the stuff going on with their team. Special teams player Brad Wing, punter, the San Antonio Brahmas, did well on the special team side. Some other honorable mentions: Donald Hagman, kicker for the Battlehawks, 2 field goals, including the game winner, and Marquette King, punter of the Renegades, 7 punts for 324 yards with a 46.3 average. So he's another good guy. So Hagman is a guy that you could also look at your lineup as well. So those are some of the players of the week. Mike Mitchell has his Week 2 TV ratings in. Week 2 is in the books. But no games on ABC. XFL telecasts begin a 4-week stretch where all the league games are on ESPN and FX, with each telecast, of course, streaming on ESPN+. The XFL's 2 network showings on ABC average 1.5 million viewers on opening weekend. The league won't be back on ABC until week 6 of the season on Sunday, March 26th. I think everything's going to be a little quiet as we get into March Madness, and I think that was done on purpose. This way that they can come out again once March Madness is over and get people hyped to close out the season. The league's first 2 cable telecasts in week 1 is simulcast on ESPN and FX on Sunday, and then the Sunday night game on ESPN alone were ranked in the top 10 out of 150 cable TV shows in that important 18 to 49 demographic, 8th and 6th respectively. So week 2 TV ratings, Thursday night on the 23rd of February, opening game on FX between the Sea Dragons and Battlehawks, averaged 524,000 viewers. The late night telecast did start at 9 and ranked 8th out of 150 TV cable shows in that important demo. During the game window, not including the post game, the XFL telecast averaged 553,000 viewers. It was the most watched sports telecast on Thursday night across ESPN, ESPN2, and FX, just to keep that in mind. For comparison, NHL game between the Calgary and Vegas on ESPN head-to-head with the XFL averaged 253,000 viewers. Big Ten college basketball on FS1, Michigan and Rutgers, averaged 364,000 viewers. Hey, think about that. Again, the NHL game, 253,000, and a college basketball game, 364,000. I don't think the sky is falling on the XFL rating. Saturday, the 25th FX telecast, my hometown, the DC Defenders, America's team, at the Vegas Vipers. We all know what happened to that. That went up. 605,000 viewers combined with ESPN Deportes. Telecast rated 12th out of 150 cable TV shows in that all-important demo. Sunday afternoon's XFL game on ESPN between the Brahmas and Guardians averaged 781,000 viewers. Telecast ranked 9th out of 150 cable TV shows. The post-game show at 6:45 on ESPN leading into the evening game on ESPN2 averaged 954,000 viewers during that time frame. Mitch Metcalf from Showbiz Daily had that portion of the broadcast listed as 5th overall on Sunday night. Just to keep that in mind. Week 2 finale with the Roughnecks and Renegades. This was the game of the week, was on ESPN2. 678,000 viewers the evening. That one ranked 12th out of 150 cable TV shows that night. There's a lot of good stuff on Sunday night. So week 2 analysis from our man Mike Mitchell. The measuring stick has changed since 2020. In the last few years, spring pro football on cable TV has produced modest viewership numbers, sometimes as low as a 5-digit viewership. Last May, the USFL in May averaged 207,000 viewers for a late night game on FS1. Between TSL, the USFL, and now XFL 2023, even the CFL, which mostly airs games on non-rating monitored ESPN News, the leagues have had varying success attracting viewership on cable. For example, the 109th Grey Cup on ESPN2 back in November averaged 158,000 viewers. Now, the 18 to 49 showings are extremely positive. The first 3 XFL games on cable were all in the top 10 out of 150 TV shows. Keep that in mind. We like to keep that trend going. More info will be provided sooner for the games up. So Saturday's FX game was ranked 12th. Sunday's was 9th. We got all that. The ESPN numbers are more respectable. The FX situation could be touch and go. Definitely a work in progress that is certainly going to affected by every XFL game airing on ESPN Plus. So that's one thing you need to kind of keep in mind as well. So the week 3 TV schedule, XFL will have 3 out of 4 telecasts this coming weekend on FX. One Saturday night, then the triple header of games starting at 1 p.m. with the doubleheader on FX, and week 3 finale between San Antonio and Houston airing at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. So you got Dragons, Vegas Vipers. That's Saturday at March 4th, 7 p.m. on FX. Your St. Louis Battlehawks, DC Defenders, 2 unbeatens will be 1 o'clock. So that's kind of a normal time to watch football at 1 o'clock on FX. Well, that's going to be interesting to see. Guardians, Renegades are at 4 o'clock on FX, and then I've got San Antonio Brahmas and Houston Roughnecks Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So those are your ratings. The sky is not falling, my friends. It's not the end of the world. As long as they stay in that top 10 on cable, I think ESPN will be happy. The numbers have been really good for FX compared to what they normally have on. So it is all good, my friends. It is all good. Get ready for the biggest XFL season yet with RunTheSims.com, your ultimate toolkit for XFL DFS and prop betting. With DraftKings offering XFL contests with huge prize pools, you want to have the best tools and player projections at your fingertips. And Run the Sims delivers with their lineup optimizer, showdown simulator, and expert pick'em tools for prize picks and underdog. So here's the deal. Use code NEWSHUB for 10% off a monthly or weekly spring football subscription and get access to accurate projections to help you make informed decisions and make that money. That's runthesims.com. Use the promo code NEWSHUB for 10% off. So if you followed spring football and in the past, you know the information edge can be massive. So if you want to win big, subscribe to runthesims.com and use the promo code NEWSHUB today to save 10% off. So you always get breaking news. Well, not kind of breaking, but according to the Dallas Morning News, I'm just seeing this now. Kyle Sloter. Renegades are going to go with Sloter as the starter, according to DallasNews.com. So Kyle, once again, Renegades are going to go with Kyle Sloter, which means, especially if you're the DFS guy, Sloter's a guy that you might want to look at starting. Sal Cannella should definitely be in your lineups going forward. That is very cool news. I'm very super excited about that. Let's go to some depth chart stuff. From Evan Wilsmore, the Roughnecks depth chart heading into week 3. John Trey Kirkland is your starting wide receiver. Brandon Silvers, Cole McDonald, they're going to stick with that. Max Borghi, another starter. Nick Holly, a halfback. Deontay Burnett and Cedric Bird, there are your starters on offense. Again, you'll show my lineup here in a second, but I'm going with Silvers. But now that Sloter is involved, I might have and he's been practicing with the team, so it's not like he's coming, way off the bench here, so to speak. Nothing crazy with the Seattle Sea Dragons. Everybody was pretty much at least on the offensive side. On the Vipers side, Sweeting was limited in practice. Everybody else was full and ready to go. Allison was on there as well. But Sweeting is kind of a guy you might want to be kind of concerned about. Quentin Dormandy was removed from the Guardians roster. I'm not going to get into why that might have happened. There's rumblings or who knows what, but he is out. So the Guardians are now looking for a quarterback. We'll have to keep an eye on who the Guardians are looking to add, but that was kind of a surprise move. And I think you're going to see more Guardians moves just because of their record. Also, Pat Ruffino has got the injury update. Marcel Aitman did not practice on Wednesday. Everybody else on the DC Defenders on the offense, Lucky Jackson was limited. The only really guys you want to see there. Per the Roughnecks official injury report, linebacker Tavante Beckett was limited in practice, and Emmanuel Ellery illness was also limited in practice. And finally, Anthony Miller has got the injury updates on the Guardians Renegades, and seems to be nothing too crazy, at least on the offensive side of things there on those teams. So really, to me, the only one you want to kind of keep an eye on is Sweeting, as a guy that might have some injury issues. All right, let's get to my picks for the week. Seattle Sea Dragons at Vegas Vipers, the 7 p.m. game, the only Saturday game on FX. I got 22-16. I think Sea Dragons are a team that should be a lot better. Hopefully the fumbles don't happen, and then we've got a good game there. I think the Vegas Vipers are a decent team as well. It could be close, but I think the Sea Dragons can pull it out. St. Louis, remember, this is in Vegas. At Vegas, we go back to where we were last week, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Then your 3 games on Sunday, St. Louis Battlehawks, DC Defenders. I got to go with my home team, 17-23. I have the DC Defenders winning it. Battlehawks have come from behind twice, not led the whole way. DC Defenders got their run game going. I think they're going to be at home. I think the crowd is going to be hot to trot with some beer snake. So I think the DC Defenders can pull out, and the Battlehawks will go to 2-1 heading into their home opener. Orlando Guardians, Arlington Renegades. Again, the Guardians we are who they thought they were. We'll see who's the starting quarterback. I think it'll be a combination of both. But I would give Francois, just let him play just give him the reins on that game. But I still think the Renegades now with Kyle Sloter, that number might go up, but I definitely think Arlington Renegades are going to win this one. I have 15-22. That 22 could be even more with Sloter on the offense. And then San Antonio Brahmas and Roughnecks. I think this could be a game and some scoring. 26-33. I have Houston Roughnecks winning it and keeping their undefeated streak going. But I think the Brahmas, Jack Cohn is a guy that can give them a spark and maybe pull out the big upset. All right, here's my lineup for this week. I got Brandon Silvers as quarterback for Houston, Kalen Ballage, San Antonio. He gets a lot of carries. Sal Cannella. Now the fact that you have Kyle Sloter as a starting quarterback, I'm definitely high on him. Orlando's Latimer, hoping for a big thing this week. He was low on the money thing, that 4,100, so that's why I kind of brought him in. I think Orlando might have a little bit more scoring this week. I think hopefully they got their acts together. And of course, you want to go with Seattle Sea Dragons. I think they'll put up some points. So you got Pearson and Jackson on the way there, and can't go wrong with the Houston Roughnecks. So I think Seattle is going to put up some points this week. Houston, I don't have a Houston wide receiver in there. That's another team that you can kind of look at for some reps there. But I'm really high on Seattle this week. I think that they are going to do pretty well and score some points against the Vegas Vipers, whose team has been not that great. But I think Seattle are really going to put it together this week, and especially Ben DiNucci is going to put it together this week. On to the betting lines. That's why I got Seattle Sea Dragons. I would take the over on basically all of these bets, to be honest with you. I think we're finally going to get some scoring this week, so take the over. I think the Seattle Sea Dragons have a 38. That's one of the reasons why I went with the Seattle players on that. So I got Seattle Sea Dragons. The DC Defenders, I said I was picking them. That will do it. Arlington Renegades, especially now with Kyle Sloter in there, and the fact that it's the Orlando Guardians, take the over. I think they will have a good game. And then I think that could be closer than what we assume is the San Antonio Brahmas, Houston Roughnecks, but you got to go with the Roughnecks. So that is my parlay. I've got that, and I've got the parlay going on for there. So we'll see if we can make some money. Last week, got one wrong. Yes, I got one wrong. But hopefully this week we'll get that parlay back. But again, the one game that I'm a little concerned about that could go sideways is the DC Defender St. Louis Battlehawks, because the Battlehawks are the Battlehawks. That game could go either way. And maybe the Seattle Sea Dragons Vipers game could be a little worried about. But Arlington Renegades and I think Houston Roughnecks are going to get the wins there for this week. All right, my friends, that's it for the picks this week. Enjoy the games. We will be back next Monday live in person doing our regular scheduled show. So remember, if you make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, enjoy week 3 games. Make sure you check out Player 54 as well and stick to XFL News Hub, the number one greatest source in the history of the universe when it comes to XFL football and any of your kind of alt football needs. We got USFL, CFL stuff going on. We got a busy stuff going on for XFL News Hub. Also, I'm going to send out on the social media, if you want to be part of our DraftKings League and play games every week, it's just $5 you can play. So we have that for you as well, and that will be coming out this week. So you can join up there. Check out our social media stuff. If you want an invite, just email me at podcast@xflnewshub.com. All right, my friends, that's it for me, folks. God bless. As always, enjoy the games. I'll be at Walters to see you guys. The Battlehawk fans will see you guys out at Walters before the game. It'll be bright and early. That's it for me, folks. God bless as always, and I will see you all later.